Good afternoon, parents, family, teachers, school administrators, and school district officials. My name is Rodney Wallace, a proud graduate of Dunbar High School, and I've been in the AVID program for 5 years. Before I begin, I would first like to thank my family for traveling so far to see me speak. I would also like to thank teachers and other members of the School District of Lee County for supporting me at this very special event. My journey started out in the 8th grade. I was the type of student who would do my very best on my coursework while asking very little questions. I was always shy, quiet, and often kept my distance between my classmates. My mind will always flash back to the 2008 recession when life started to fall apart piece by piece. Both of my parents lost their jobs, fell behind on paying the bills, and struggled to put food on the table for my siblings and me. Worst of all, my parents decided to get a divorce. I was lost and confused, and I thought it was just going to be me, myself, and I as best friends. When I received my acceptance letter into the AVID program, I was proud of myself for taking the next step in improving my education. However, I knew I was going to be the same shy, quiet person because I didn't have the desire or drive to change who I was. Once the school year started, the roller coaster ride began. Information about tutorials, Cornell notes, and keeping an organized binder, while tough, helped me to succeed and enter high school with a 4.04 GPA. Freshman year was quite different because I actually had to talk to people, thanks in part to AVID. But it was a very special year for me. My AVID teacher, Mrs. Lori Metz, was always on top of my grades. It was making sure my binder was well organized for our daily binder checks. Although she got on my nerves sometimes when I forget to turn in my TRF form, she was the teacher who inspired me to strive for greatness. Because of her efforts in seeing her students succeed, I was awarded the Take Stock in Children Scholarship in my county. I earned this scholarship worth approximately $40,000. I earned this scholarship due to the powerful essay I wrote as a cross-curricular assignment in both my AVID and English class. I now have the ability to attend any school in the state of Florida I get accepted into tuition-free. A couple months later, I was selected from a national applicant pool for the High School High Scholars Program, abbreviated HS Squared. This program was an all-expense-paid trip to the Colorado Rocky Mountain School located in Carbondale, Colorado, where I spent 5 weeks during 3 consecutive summers engaged in an accelerated study of math, science, college planning, and experimental education. That roller coaster ride I mentioned earlier was a smooth ride straight ahead. However, that was about to change. In April of 2012, my mother went into surgery. Thinking about whether my mother was going to live or not was a constant struggle I was faced with by myself. At least I had thought I had to face it alone. My mother was diagnosed with hydrocephalus at birth and has been struggling with it all her life. Hydrocephalus is a condition in which there's an excessive accumulation of fluid in the brain. 40 years later, my mother was diagnosed with Cari malformation, in which brain tissue extends into your spinal canal. This surgery was to remove the accumulated fluid that was flowing down her neck. I did not think I would have been able to make it through if it wasn't for my AVID family. The AVID teachers comforted me in my time of need and were there every step of the way. Today, my mother is alive, healthy, and got to see me walk across the stage in May. Senior year was the year I contracted a terrible disease, one that students can contract and teachers feared. Senioritis. Not even a month into my first semester, I was already slacking off my daily tasks, like completing TRFs, college applications, and scholarship essays. I was falling behind with all of my assignments, and I was never in the mood to do anything. I guess you could say I was still in vacation mode. With the efforts of Mr. Robert Little, my senior AVID teacher, I got back on track with my coursework and was back on the path to success. At the end of my first semester, I received a phone call from my mother informing me I was in a local newspaper. The paper stated I was a finalist for the News Press 2014 People of the Year Award in the category Rising Star. I was ecstatic because I've never appeared on the front page of a newspaper before. The article detailed my accomplishments that AVID made possible. Receiving this recognition highlights how AVID has had a major impact in my life. If it was not for AVID, I would not be here speaking about my experiences. I would not have graduated at the top of my class with, get this, a 5.36 GPA. I would not have graduated high school with 30 college credits towards a bachelor's degree. I would not have received as many scholarships as I did. I don't think I would have been the person I am today. With the help of AVID, I have set a goal in life to make an impact in students' lives, and I feel that teaching will be the avenue that leads to achieving that goal. I plan to attend the University of Florida this summer and plan to major in mathematics to become a math educator. After teaching for a couple of years, I plan to continue my education by obtaining a doctorate degree in education in hopes of becoming a K-12 public school administrator, ultimately becoming a principal of a Title I school. This will provide me with an opportunity to build a school from the ground up so that all students may excel and achieve excellence. My passion for teaching sets the stage for touching the lives of students as AVID did for me. Through hard work and my own individual determination, I plan to build upon this framework as a means of serving the community as a responsible, ethical, and productive adult. Thank you.